Welcome back to another Let's Talk Clutter episode. I am so grateful for my guest who agreed very last minute to join me this morning, Amy and Amy's cat Mittens, who has been a fixture in all of our Facebook groups since the very beginning. Welcome to the podcast.
Good morning. I'm so glad I could come. And
Me
yes,
too.
Mittens really is here. She is right behind my shoulder. I had to stop her from eating the sewing thread a minute ago. So,
Amy, I absolutely love the quilt in the background. It's beautiful. Is it a quilt or is it a board for?
well, it's a felt board or to pin quilts too. Um, and so there are a couple, I'm not very good at this, couple quilt blocks back there that I'm working
Oh,
on.
yeah.
And the pattern is the thing I pin it to.
It's very cool looking. And I know I dive right in here. I know that you are a crafter, a big crafter, and
Yes.
crafts are something that so many people, crafting supplies are something that so many people struggle with their clutter. You have made tremendous strides tackling your craft stuff. Do you want to share a little of how that all has worked for you and, what's been really successful?
That's a great place to begin. And I think the words are like right on my face. That's like, I am like really bad at this. Okay. So, but when, before I started with, you in 2020, February 1st boot camp, my sewing, crafting, quilting, cross stitch, all of that, they were squirreled away in every closet, under both beds, in every corner. Yes, floor space was storage space. And I would have said to anyone, "Oh, it's not bothering anyone. No one could see that. It was, fake and visible. Um,
It's a
it's
new
there.
term,
So
fake invisible. I love
yeah,
it.
I mean, under end tables, under in core, everything. I would keep the dining room table, and I still don't eat at the dining room table. It's just me. Um, but my dining room table is clear. I used to have it completely covered on purpose, I would say, so that the cat wouldn't get on the table. Who the heck cares if the cat goes on the table if I don't eat there? Um, so my table's clear. But I changed during one of the boot camps, I changed my guest room into my sewing room, moved everything from all over the house into there, getting rid of things that I would never ever use. I also was giving away lots because people would ask for fabric during the pandemic for masks or whatever. They needed a project to do. And so that pared down things that I wasn't going to use. If I hadn't used it in 20 years, just because I retired did not mean that I was going to use it. Um, and it took a couple times. Um, I got new flooring, which paid cash for, where it's stop the flow in, stop the flow in, let me flow
Yes.
the flooring in and not have to pay interest on anything.
Amy,
Um,
that's another big accomplishment that you've had in our programs is just saving money
just
overall.
Yeah, I just like slowly, one thing after another. I redid my full bathroom again, paid the man cash. Um, there's not been a loan. I haven't had to pay interest. I've not paid interest on credit cards in a very, very long time. I am fortunate with that. It's just me. Mittens isn't that expensive, but other people in a teacher seller, because I was a teacher for 30 years, owe tons. It happens. Life happens. Um, but so yeah, when I got the new flooring in, the plan was, because it was carpet, to put the wheels on the bottom of the one of those big stainless steel racks. It's 6 feet tall, 6 feet, I don't know how wide. Well, I it was fine that night in my bedroom, and I was rolling it into the room, and then it collapsed. Not gonna work. So then I had it without the wheels, but that like defeated the whole purpose. I wanted anyway. It just didn't look good. So I thought and thought and thought and thought and looked at quilt room designs and finally got what I wanted. I really like all the fabric where I can see it and it's sorted and and the curtains are pulled so that it doesn't bother the fabric. But my new big obsessive project getting done is inventorying all of my cross stitch stuff. Because on Saturday's marathon, when I was going through it, I found 3 of this pattern, 2 of that pattern. Nobody needs 2 of any of these things. You don't need them. But I guess I liked it so much that I bought 3 and don't want to stitch it ever again or ever. Yep.
Amy, why do you think it's so why is crafting such a difficult category for people when it comes to clutter?
Well, because and the big joke is the first part of the hobby or the first is actually buying the stuff. That's fun. And it's not the same to quite catch and release that, but I can certainly look at my pictures of every because I took a picture of every single thing that I touched the other day. But then the second part is doing it. But when I was teaching, there wasn't much time to do it. And so this was my retirement plan. I have stuff to do. Well, I went back to work a year later. And love working at the library. If I hadn't done boot camp and joined you, I probably would not have even tried for the job.
Okay, wait, hold on. Where's the connection there? So how boot camp and decluttering equal applying for this? Because I always tell people things flow in when you let go of clutter, and it's not the things that you think. This is a great example, but like, how does that happen, and why does that happen?
Well, I was retired for a year. Well, under a year when I joined you. And so I worked February, March, April, May, June, and then I saw the advertisement. And by then I said, oh, my house is getting in order. I don't need to stay home and work on this anymore. I'm good. I've got skills and strategies that I can keep up. It won't ever get as bad as it did when I was teaching. Teaching is all encompassing.
Yes.
And we have so many teachers in our group. There is no, it's not, you can't describe it. And I know other jobs are hard, but so many of those other jobs don't bring home more work after you've worked 10, 11 hours at school.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, again, there are other jobs just like that, but this one, it's just, and so I knew that I had things under control.
Also comes with stuff, right? So like personal stuff. I mean, there's not a lot of other jobs where you're working all the time, bringing work home, but then you also are oftentimes buying stuff for your classroom out of your own budget, like gathering stuff for future projects. I mean, it's a complicated thing when it comes to clutter and teachers.
It is so much. And with the school that I was at for the last 17 years, we were required to take every single thing home that we personally owned for the summer, for the 6 weeks of summer, because, quote, they were going to clean our classrooms. Now, I cleaned my classroom with my students the last day. My room would be spotless. When I came back, my room was a mess because of whatever they thought they were in there doing. And I would have to re-clean my classroom. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, I know. We're bouncing around here, but it's just insanity.
It absolutely is. And so I got the job that and it was, I mean, I love working at the library and I love when I get there. But in the beginning, I was a substitute. And when you're a substitute, you get called just whenever. So I'd have to be ready to be the substitute. And I could do a little predicting because someone in particular took off a lot of time. And so I could look at the schedule and I say, oh, so-and-so's going to call off today. I should be ready. But I would know what time. So I'd have that big window of time to work on my decluttering or fun craft projects and get some fun in, because you can't clean and declutter all the time.
No.
There has to be fun. There has
Mm-hmm.
to be rewards that are free, because I have all that craft stuff in my house that I really do enjoy doing. And I painted my entire house a room at a time. And I couldn't have done that with all that mess in my house before. I couldn't have paid anybody to do it, because they would have come in and said, "Where are we going to put all that stuff, ma'am?" And because when it wasn't that it was strewn all over the house, I mean, all over the floors or anything, but it would be too much to move.
Mm-hmm.
And when they did the flooring, they did it in 2 days, plus the carpet on the stairs was a different day. It was a different person. They came in. I had my bedroom empty except for the bed and the recliner. And there was room for it in the sewing room. But they said, "No, we're just going to move that around. It'll be okay." Okay. And then they went down and got started on the kitchen. And then they came back the next day. And after they left, I moved everything from the sewing room back into the bedroom, and the sewing room stuff over there too. But that it all fit. No problem. I didn't have to carry stuff downstairs. When I got flooring done in the dining room and the living room in 2003, I carried things up the stairs. The china cabinet, which was two pieces, it never came back downstairs. It's gone now, but I left the china cabinet
to haul upstairs
I
alone.
hauled the china cabinet up the stairs so that they would have not so much to mess with when they did the flooring downstairs in 2003. And I mean, I had a whole lot less stuff, but I thought that I needed to move that upstairs. I probably did not need to do that.
Lessons learned, right?
Yeah. I did not move crazy stuff up or down the stairs this past time. It was a lot easier.
Amy, so okay, I guess we have been bouncing around a ton, but there's so much to talk about, because you have been working in our groups for, I think you were in the first boot camp, maybe?
Very first one. Yeah.
Okay. And then you have just been consistently taking action on your clutter. And then when you mostly decluttered, you continued to push yourself towards creating a home that you love.
Yes.
Painting, continuing to declutter. And after about 4 years now, how is life different? Like what? I mean,
it's just so different. So I have a chore chart on my freezer, and it has little magnets. And again, I'm the only one that lives in the house. Mittens is not moving things in the chore chart, but I need things for a reward. And I don't go and get myself a present when I fill the chore chart or anything. I just like to see what's going on. And I see, oh, there's no little thing on bathroom. So this morning I did the bathroom things. It just, I look at it, but okay. So, but the point about that is today is Friday. So yesterday, the chore chart, it starts on Mondays, and there were very few little magnets moved. I've been so into working on inventorying the cross stitch stuff, which is going to blossom into inventorying some of the quilting stuff too. Because I'm like, oh, it can go in the app too. I'm like, oh my gosh, then I won't buy 2 quilt books that are the same. Because if I liked it the first time, I know I'll like it the second time.
So you have an app that you're using to inventory your craft stuff. Oh, that is brilliant.
Someone at the library, when I told her what I had done, that I had bought things twice or 3 times, she says, pulls out her phone. She says, I have a cross stitch app. And I'm not so pressed about inventorying my DMC floss, but I have some really expensive, which is now getting expensive, but I have stuff that's $4 a skein, $7,000 worth of embroidery floss. I think if the house would burn down, the insurance company would give me that back. Okay. So it's in my app. I really have it. Plus it has pictures of everything. So there's a place to put a picture of the pattern, a place for notes. But yeah, she showed me the app on her phone, and I couldn't get that one because hers must be an Android phone. But the one I have, I can use on my iPad and my Android. I have to pay twice though, but it's okay. It will bump it into both things. But on that, I'm debating about getting a real phone. I have a track phone. I'm a very, very thrifty person. I paid $79 for it. I pay right around $200 for phone service for the whole year. Anyway, but
that is very inexpensive.
yeah.
For
So I am selling all the extra cross stitch mess on eBay this week, which is also very addictive for me. Mm-hmm. It's like I've spent a lot of time this week looking at eBay. So some things didn't sell last night, but it's like 3 days worth because it took me 3 days to get myself all whatever. But I've made enough to pay for the phone I want. Top of the line iPhone. I want that. And I can put it on my track phone plan. That's what I was waiting for.
Oh,
so I don't have to pay the big phone bill, but I can have the fancy phone. And I really like my iPad, and everything can go from one to the other. I'm kind of excited.
Actually, it is so nice how all of the Apple products just talk to each other. I mean, it does make life a lot easier. Yeah. And I think, paying twice for the app seems like it's totally worth it because you're saving money in the future by not buying duplicates.
Well, but if I do the iPhone thing, I won't have to pay twice for the app. You pay twice for the app if you have an Android and an iPad.
Gotcha.
Like 2 different platforms. So I'm holding off on that because it won't work on the phone I have real well. It's not fast enough. Anyway, who cares about that? But I'm so excited because when I go to the store, it was just so eye-opening when I went to the cross stitch store the other day. I went in. Before I went in, I had in the car the patterns that I have. It's a set that I'm making a series of something. And I looked at all the ones I had. And I said, okay, so I have this many. And I went in and they said, yes, we have this one and this one. So I got those 2. I get out of the car. No, I got home. Bought the same one. Bought the same one. It's like, no, because I totally can sell this series almost for what I paid for it when I'm done stitching them. It's very, very popular, and people would have to pay. They've been paying for anyway. Who cares? But 2 of them, one part of the series, that one's just garbage. Buy nothing, maybe, but it may. Yeah.
So there's a question in the comments here. What is the name of the app?
Oh gosh, I knew you were going to ask me. I don't know what happens if I push the button on the iPad.
We can put it into the comments. We can put it into the comments after this. Yeah.
Right. Yes, because I'll mess the whole thing up if I push something.
There's another question. How do you decide, like duplicates aside, how do you decide what crafting stuff to let go of if you have a lot of crafting stuff?
And I have so much. Mary Margaret said the other day that she was going through hers, and that's what started me on this. So thanks, Mary Margaret. She said that she would never have enough time in her lifetime to stitch everything she has. She is 100% correct. The second thing is, I last year in the spring sent a Christmas wish list. Please fill this out for me so that I don't buy you things that you don't want. Also on there was, is there something I can make for you? And I got it back from everyone in my family but my brother, and my sister-in-law was probably smacking him with the newspaper for refusing to fill it out. He was having whatever. He knew it was about him. No, I'm kidding. He didn't know that. It was just, I can only have so many cat statues. And things like that. So anyway, when they returned it, no one asked for cross stitch anything. I still have places I want to put cross stitch in my house. This year, my sister did ask for a cross stitch switch plate. I figured I'd get a few with people wanting those every once in a while. But I have a lot of things that are more mentally for gifts for the family.
Amy, this
They
is a
don't want them.
fascinating way to gather information. And also,
Yes.
I love that, like, it seems like you're not taking this personally at all.
No, then I have more time for my crafts for me. And if you want me to find you at the world's longest yard sale, a bacon grease holder, that's what somebody wants this year. Why, I can look for that at the world's largest yard sale and not buy anything. I bought nothing for me last year. I just bought things that other people had been wanting, like really bad.
If you're listening
Um,
to this podcast right now, take Amy's advice, make a Christmas, what do you call it? A Christmas?
it's a Christmas wish list. And so I coordinated and had everyone that we still do gifts, and we have no little children in the family, but this is just what we do. And if we don't do this, I end up with all kinds of whatever. And so I had little prompts, and I can put that in there later too, what I use, and asked everyone to do it. It made my niece cry. She got a little stressed out about it. And it wasn't that she didn't want to do it. So this year, my sister and I that live near her, she came over and we had a paper ready, and I'd already worked with my dad on his. And we were just wrapping his up, and she came in and said, "Oh!" And Carol my other sister, had come up with some prompts, extra prompts that might help her. And so we helped her fill hers out. Um, my sister out in California got hers and her sons and her husband's done.
My mittens.
Yes, girl. And but who was first this year? My brother and sister-in-law in the mail first. She
So
filled
this
his
is
out.
just a brilliant way to gather information about what
Yeah.
people actually want, and then you have the whole year to
Mm-hmm.
find or make the
Right.
gift that they
Right.
truly want.
That's right. And you can spread it out. I mean, when you're at the grocery store, because, okay, on my list, I would like chocolate chips. And I'm not kidding. I use a lot of chocolate chips.
It's another collection that you have a lot of is chocolate
Yeah.
chips or
But
all sorts of like little
it
chocolate
had,
chips.
well, and I mean, I'm down to a third of a freezer bin now, whereas I had 2 bins full before. So I've worked down the stuff that I actually don't like to use that much in baking, because I like to eat 1 or 2 that morning for breakfast, and so M&M cookies not so much. I had lots of clearance M&Ms after Christmas or Easter or whatever, and they stay really fine in the freezer. But yeah, definitely pared all that down. But so yes, I got everyone's list. I was going to, and I said on the list I wasn't going to beg you for it this year. I need to not say that, because I have to beg people, and they really meant to do it. I had the last 2 holdouts, and then I have to mail them. I make copies and I mail them all to everybody. So yeah,
Wow, so this is like a whole family.
whole production
This is
thing.
such a great way to do gifts. I love this. Where did you come up with this idea? Is this like a thing or is it an Amy thing?
It it was something that someone said on one of the calls one time. And it wasn't that they said that they did a list, but something spurred it on. I can't remember exactly what it was. And I went looking for a list, and mostly those lists that I found were for like Secret Santa. So
Mhm.
not quite, it didn't quite how I wanted. So I came up with my own questions. So you go from there, start from there, and do what you want. The first year I had a little, I am sure I have both papers. They're both pretty much the same questions, but the first year it explained why I was doing this, trying to put it on me that I don't want, and put it on that I don't want to clutter up their house like with stuff that they don't want. And that there's, we're getting older, and those kinds of things. Just kind of try to ease into it.
So, I guess, okay, when you sent out the first one, did you expect that a lot of people were going to ask for homemade, like cross stitch type of things? Or like, what was your expectation versus reality?
I really didn't know. Um, I really had no idea what they were going to say. I was quite sure that people were going to, my other sister has made people a lot of pillowcases. So I thought that no one would ask for pillowcases because the very last line says, what is something that you have a lot of that you don't need any more of?
Which
And
is also a really gentle way for people to
yep,
say, "You've been giving me all this stuff for so many years, and
yep, yep.
my collection is complete now. I don't
Right,
need any
right.
more." I had a
Exactly.
client who once mentioned to somebody that she liked elephants, and then, like, after that, got elephant everything for, like, years from,
Yes,
like, everyone in her family. She's like, "I don't even really like elephants that much. Like, I they're
right.
okay, but"
Yeah. I mean, as a teacher, before Christmas, I would not wear earrings all the way through Christmas. And then 2 weeks later, whatever, I'd wear earrings because I only can wear expensive earrings. The whole whatever.
Yeah.
You guys, and it's a pain, and I don't like them that much anyway. But early on in my career, I'd wear earrings before Christmas, and I get all kinds of earrings for Christmas.
Yep.
Don't want them. Um, Lots of teachers got tons of coffee mugs. My students have always been very observant. I didn't get too many because I never drank out of a mug.
I know. I always
Yeah.
when it comes to teacher gift giving, I have always tried to not give a thing and instead
Hmm.
give like a gift card or, or like make cookies or something. But then
Yeah.
even then it's kind of like, what if they don't eat cookie? Like, it's
Right.
hard to
It's
know.
so hard, so hard. I had lots of favorite little things. I mean, I still have around somewhere a needlepoint cat tissue box holder, and you're like, why don't you know where it is? Well, I've used it for various things besides the tissue box, but I mean, I know how much effort went into that.
Yep.
Oh, but yeah, I mean, things are amazing. Things have changed. I mean, yeah, so I got the job, and then last, well, it was a very stressful, long wait because I knew a job was supposed to be available, and then they went around it. The library system's a little bit, I don't know. We don't really understand what HR is doing, basically. And but I knew, and it was very stressful for somebody I was working with because she was having to come up with lots of substitutes. I mean, she worked really hard, and she made sure we knew our schedule well in advance as much as she could. She'd do a whole month at a time because she knew whatever. And so then I got the job, the full part time. There were the career part time. So I'm still part time, but I know when I'm going to go to work.
Perfect. That's perfect, right?
Yes. Wait. Yes. Yeah. And it's wonderful, and getting a few more responsibilities and getting to do even more fun stuff. But now when I say, I used to say, well, I have to go to work. No, when I went, no, now it's I get to go to work.
I'm
It's
excited to go to
different.
work. Amy, did you know that I started my career as a director of a public library?
Yes. Yes.
I love libraries. I think
Oh,
they are
amazing places.
amazing places. Yep.
Hmm.
And I love how, like, libraries are modernizing too, and, like, you can go to the library and get things that are not necessarily
Yep.
books. You can get I was just at a library doing a presentation near us, and they had, um, like, cookware and, like, specialty pans to, like, molds, for, like, cooking in
Nice.
and stuff like that. I thought that was a great thing to circulate.
We have fishing rods. I live near the water. We have fishing rods.
It makes so much sense.
Yeah. We have museum passes.
Yep.
That's a nice one. Nice one. And there are a few other interesting things. And some of them are specific. We have 16 branches in our county, and some are specific to the branch. Not all of our branches have fishing rods because not all of them are water privileged. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So neat. So,
so
Amy, we're towards the end of our half an
right.
hour. Do you have any suggestions or advice for people who are either just starting out or stuck decluttering?
let's see, just starting out, my favorite one is to take a picture of a teeny tiny area, not a whole room, because first of all, it's too much. And second, you're not going to focus in. And people have asked over and over again, probably one of your biggest questions but what if I'm hopping around all over the place? Those little hop around puzzle pieces that you're working on are going to all of a sudden come into the big picture. I did not stay in one place all the time. And you always say, get the easy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I got the easy stuff and slowly worked around here and there. But the other one is, what if you're stuck? I come to our Facebook groups. If you're not in Prioritize Your Sanity, I would say you should really, $10 a month, and you get to see what everyone is working on to give you ideas. When I see Marie's box a day or Karen's box a day, um, I'll see something in there and think, why didn't I think of getting rid of that? I don't use that anymore. They give me so many great ideas. Um, or someone will post what they're getting done and say, hey, you want to join me? And we're not really together, but okay, then we check up and see how much we got done. So many great ideas. It's just motivating. And the whole spring calendar challenge, I mean, I'm a person, you do what you're supposed to do. And so I'm going to do it. Okay, I didn't have well, I say I didn't have toys, but I got rid of most of my kid toys by now. So I'm like, what are my toys? Oh, my toys are cross stitch.
Did you see the spring challenge for, I don't know if it was yesterday or today, but it's cleaning your garbage cans?
Garbage cans are tomorrow.
Oh, maybe it was
Okay,
tomorrow.
well, no, I'm going to say when you guys get to you've missed a day somewhere, but who cares? So you're going to get to the 30th and you're going, what day did we miss? Let's ask Amy. I don't remember. But one day we all of a sudden weren't in sync. But hey, however you're doing it to get it out. But yeah, garbage cans. Now, my little ones, I wash those regularly. It's the recycling giant rolling bin outside that might be the problem.
Yeah, they get really gross sometimes.
And I don't put yucky stuff in there, but it's wet sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's paper stuck down there. But I have a long handled rubber broom. There we go, thinking it through. Except that it's pouring rain out there. Maybe it won't rain tomorrow. But yes, but I mean, so many amazing ideas. Thank you so much. But yes, join. I can't tell you how much of a difference it has made.
And I want to just throw in here that Amy has been part of Prioritize Your Sanity, which is our $10 a month group. And that has been her investment in the decluttering program. And this has been her success. So I think even just a little bit goes such a long way because you get the community, and that is everything.
I mean, and I guess it just depends on you personally, what works for you. Maybe it's all clutter group would work for people. That's what they need, or it's maybe their starting point. And then if they get stuck, to move up. But maybe other people need to be in the Clutter Boss Academy or the Clutter Boss Basics. It just depends on, I'm not even saying it depends on what's in your house. It's more about your personality. I'm not saying quite right. Yeah. Or it's how you work.
Yes, it's your process, and it's the level of support that you are looking for, I think.
Exactly.
Some people just need more support, and that's great. And some people just need, actually, I wouldn't even say like it's level of support, but it's also how self-motivated you are.
And how you work, how your mind thinks things through. And Juliana and I toss things back and forth on Messenger. You find a great clutter buddy and you've got a friend for life.
Yes.
And someone that understands you. And us, it's not that my family doesn't understand, because they're all right there with me. It is definitely a family thing. And my parents' house, now that they moved out of the farmhouse, is so much better. I'll go home and I'll clean off the kitchen counter. And my dad will say, "Whoa, we have a kitchen counter. I didn't know we had one under there." But no, they didn't. They haven't been buying things to replace things that they got rid of when they moved from the giant 6-bedroom farmhouse. But still hard. Still hard to clean. And she has a cleaning lady. That's that whole. We've had that discussion. Do you have to clean before the cleaning lady comes? Well, if you want them to clean that area, you can't have stuff on the floor.
You need to pick up. You don't need to clean.
Yes.
You need to pick up. And I think that's,
Yeah,
we
that's
have
it.
this discussion in our family all the time.
Right.
Clean people are coming. Pick up. You just have to pick up. Otherwise, I'm closing your door and it's not getting cleaned. Like,
Yep. I mean, my dad's job is that he has 2 cats in the house, and they are in his office. And the cats are in there. And if he wants his room cleaned, he has to put the cats in cat carriers. Well, the one cat has been doing it for a couple of years now, and she just runs in her carrier, and he carries her out and puts her in the living room. The new cat, he has to go get the broom and get her out from under the couch. Anyway, so yeah, lots and lots of things to think about.
Amy, there were so many like incredible nuggets of information in this interview. I'm going to go back and listen to it, but if you are a crafter, if you're not sure how to handle gifts, there's so much here. If you're a teacher, if you're not sure how things are going to flow into your life after you start decluttering, re-listen, because Amy has shared so much. And Amy, I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you for being such a supportive member of our community and someone who's so active. I truly, truly, truly appreciate that. And it's people like you that keep these communities going. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right. If you want to connect with Amy, she's in Prioritize Your Sanity, so get on in there. And just thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.
You do the same.
Have fun with the cross stitching.
Yes. I'm getting ready to go back to more inventory, like do inventory and then a break. All right. Bye.
Bye, Amy.